Morgan Rhalls, you are on your way to pick up the final member of your inquisitorial band before your quest begins. You have already collected Judge Buchanan Rex and Brother Solomon Gale. You are now on your way to collect the witch hunter turned psyker, Damien Proxima. You are with two very Puritan people.
Yeah.
Damien is a psyker who you need for your missions. Is there any way you want to prepare them in advance for this?
Yeah. Would it be possible to listen to Valentine's note
Of
first
course.
before I talk to the rest of everyone? I would love to have
He's
full
probably a good guy.
information.
In
Full
the bathroom,
information
she's
here.
listening quietly with the door closed.
just my earbuds.
Damien Proxima is an operative that I discovered personally over the course of a mission. He was raised in the Schola Ministorum, trained as an acolyte of the imperial cult, and appeared to be very devout, dedicated to the cause, prayed regularly. His reports were excellent, and he began creating or being a part of miracles. Over the course of his early career, there were notes where he had ecstatic visions, dreams, where he was describing things that he had seen that those higher up within the Ministorum recognized as the fall of Horus and the civil war with the Deceiver. He spoke it poetically, but it was seen within those visions which drew the immediate attention of his superiors. He identified a rogue Psyker waiting in line in an attempt to destroy the body of Saint Vincula, and he faith-healed Cardinal Oyoda of the Imperial Church. All of these were cleared as miracles, not psychic interference. Unfortunately, over time he eventually drew the attention of the ecclesiarchy witch hunters, one specifically, Jean-Claude Raphael. It appeared that the witch hunter saw potential in Damien and wanted to nurture it, took the boy in younger than was typical for witch hunter apprentices. He was taken in around the age of 15. Continued forwards, there may have been some psychic interactions. We're not entirely sure when his powers matured, but we know when they came out. He was engaged with a battle against the cult of apparently a Father Kestrel. Unfortunately, they had successfully summoned Father Kestrel, and the demon, rather than destroying his party, one that I myself had been pursuing under a variety of other names, the demon opened the doorway inside Damien's mind. The psychic powers of the warp flowed forth, and he burnt down most of his companions. At that point, I discovered him in the field and took him in. I didn't know who he was. I wanted to discover what I could about him. He has been in a Psyker prison for approximately 5 years, honing his abilities from other rogue Psykers and other tools. I have shown up to provide him things. The longer he survives, the more things he has received. He appears to have a deep-seated hatred of this demon. Again, he knows it as Father Kestrel. It's also known as Mother Kestrel, Brother Kestrel, Sister Kestrel, the Joyous Queen, the Dancing Fool, the Whirling Mother, the Transcendent Fool. There are a lot of names of this demon. He hates it deep down inside his soul. He started out religious, now became the thing that he was persecuting, but at the same time it seems that he has no greater urge than to destroy this demon, any demon, and the warp as a whole. That is what I know. If you arrive in prison, you'll be able to remove him with the rosette. I've arranged so that there is a demonstration of his power when you arrive. It will be unpleasant. It will not be occurring to you, but you will be able to witness it to understand what he is capable of.
Do we all hear this, or it's just
Nope.
it's just great?
Jess Morgan is
What?
You don't get no.
What are you doing there?
No. You're on a need-to-know basis. Morgan listens to this and it wrestles with this because it's the most complicated of the agents. But it also seems to her that it makes a sort of sense, and also that Valentine picked this person particularly. Morgan has known that psychers in the past can be very harmful and very scary, but can also be extremely helpful. And so it is that like double-edged sword of something that is heretical and evil, but when put towards good ends, can use that power in a way that can be very helpful for the Emperor and for the Inquisition. So she will find a room where they can all sit, her and the two boys can sit down together, and so no one else can be listening.
There is a mess hall on this particular ship that you are traveling in, but it has side containers, side rooms that can be sealed off completely. So you pay for one of these VIP dinner rooms, and the three of you sit down in a room that you are sure is unavailable to any prying ears.
Yep. And Morgan will sit down. Brother, Judge, we are on our way to pick up our third and final operative. I wanted to talk to you both about it to begin with. I know that you both have served the Imperium well. You both are religious, violent, perfect displays of Imperium humanity. Our third person has been troubled. I understand that both of you, when you see heresy, when you see things that may be dangerous to other humans, you would stomp it out instantly. I ask you not to do that in the name of the Inquisition. Have either of you dealt with such things in your past?
I'm just cleaning my gun while you're talking with me because I'm just like brushing up on getting everything in working order. So I'm just looking down at my weapons. I'm also like possibly in between my gun, just sharpening my knife with a sharpening stone.
You've never seen anyone eat as fast as Judge Buchanan Rex. Like full meal, it's military style. Like, gotta get it in you before the mission, immediately back to caring for weapons.
And I'm not even giving you eye contact. I'm just looking down at my things. You're asking if we're familiar with heresy. You do know I'm an operatives, right?
I do, and I've read your record. I wanted to hear it from you, how you feel about it. Will you be able to stay your hand if you see it, on my order?
Were I 200 years younger, I might have struck you down for even bringing up the topic of heresy. But I'm older and wiser. I need to know more, though.
You will know more, because we
Good
will
enough for me.
meet him. Good. And you, brother?
My lady, I am but a tool of the Inquisition at this moment. I heed your every word, but I agree with the good judge. We must know what kind of heresy we are to face on this planet. What evil is wrought in this new environment to be best prepared to serve the Emperor.
We are going to go to a prison and pick up a Psyker heretic who will be joining us.
It's a Psyker.
Yes. I also want you both to know that he, from what I know, is a pious Psyker. So I hope that both of you will help him continue to pray to the Emperor and follow the correct path. Can I count on you to do that for me?
A pious heretic Psyker. Well, now I've heard everything.
Forgive me in my ignorance, my lady, but how is a Psyker heretical? We have no knowledge of this. Some of my close personal friends are Psykers.
Brother Solomon, then you don't need to worry about it.
Well, this sounds like a miscommunication at best. I look forward to gaining the company of this good Psyker.
Wonderful. Perfect. All right. And Morgan finally settles down to eat food.
Morgan, can you roll me an insight?
Yeah. 22.
I'll let you let this ride because it's entirely your decision, but Brother Solomon may think Psyker means something different than you if he has several close friends who are Psykers.
You can't see it, but the judge's eyes are just widening underneath his helmet and his visor, and alarms are going off, and he just doesn't know if he's dealing with a dull tool or if he's actually being authentically inclined to like and support other Psykers. So,
Well, do you make... Is there any way I could tell his physical tells from
Roll me
being...
a perception.
All right. 14.
14? This is pretty obvious discomfort that he's not actively trying to hide it. So I would say, yeah, you can spot it.
Judge Rex, do you have thoughts about this?
yes, I do actually. Thank you for bringing that up. Where do I even begin? You have friends that are Psykers.
Oh, of course. Back on Promethea.
And then I withdraw my Arbites shotgun and I stand up.
And Morgan will stand right in front of the judge, in front of the shotgun.
So you are all in a table that is a circle with an
Great.
exit to it. So Morgan, just because now we need to paint this picture, I imagine in my head it was like Solomon and Buchanan at the edges of the horseshoe, ready to step out, and you the furthest in.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you get out and in between the two of them when you're the deepest into the table?
I think Morgan's going to jump up onto the table in
Great.
the middle of them.
Top
and,
of table.
And she's squat, so that she's still, her chest is in front of the shotgun.
Okay.
Stand down, Judge. Don't pull weapons on other members of our team.
You said we were dealing with one Psyker. A Pious Psyker. Now I hear this gentleman has been dealing with Psykers for years now? This changes the equation.
No. Judge, he is not a Psyker, and the other Psykers he's mentioning are not here, are they, Brother Solomon?
No, of course not. They're back on Listen, I think there might be a miscommunication. Let me read to you from the good book of the Emperor. And he pulls out a tome and he opens it to the 20th page. And he goes, now I know this is not maybe what you're used to, but look right here. These are the commandments of the Emperor. And here is what we must fear. You must fear the heretic and the mutant. And then he turns over the next page and it's empty. And that's where it cut off. The big two, we called them. The heretic and the mutant. Psychers, not mentioned.
Brother Solomon, I think there is some information missing in your book.
It's funny you mention that. And he starts flipping through Here, the mysteries of the Emperor, for us to impart our own wisdom and experiences, so we may seek greater knowledge. Not everything can be spelled out for you, my friends.
Yes, exactly. Judge, it seems that Solomon might need your guidance, tutelage, you to help share some of that knowledge you have from all of the years that you have worked for the Imperium. Does that settle you?
Judge Rex lowers his shotgun, sits back down, and he's just going to go quiet. He's just like, we're going to see how things settle. And yeah, he's just like, I don't like it, but I guess I'm going to have to get used to not liking this.
Morgan's going to sidle back off of the table, but she's going to come to Judge Rex's side and kind of squat down next to him where he's sitting.
Can you roll me an acrobatics?
Sure. 16.
All right, you're doing fine, and you managed to not ruin your dinner. This was like, can Morgan jump up on the table and still have her meal be in one piece check?
That's nice. Buchanan, I understand that being an Arbites on a planet is difficult and you must keep your rules exactly in line. But in the Inquisition, we work with many different people from different walks of life who have different backgrounds. We need to have a little bit of patience and understanding with those people. Do you understand?
Yes, I think that tracks. Very well, but I must warn you, champion, watch what you say.
I speak only the word of the Emperor, my good judge. Come, sit at my feet and I might read to you.
Sit at my feet.
He's so earnest about this. Like there's no hint of idea. He has no idea this is wrong. He's so happy to be here, and he's so pleased to be in a mission of the Inquisition. And he just wants. He's like, this is him trying to make friends.
No.
Well, perhaps I will just read, and if you happen to hear it,
No.
okay. Well, maybe I'll just sit quietly.
Yes, let us all sit quietly and finish our dinner.
I already have. I'm going now.
Yes, you're dismissed.
Dealing with psychers.
And the next day, you take a lighter from the ship that you are transporting in, a lighter being a small class of subship that you could use to transport between
Very
ships,
good.
and you travel over to a ship that didn't show up on any of the sensors. You could see from the outside that it was an invisible ship from where you had come from. The sensors on your first ship weren't even able to pick it up, but they had this location for you to go to. You enter into this facility, And you are escorted by guards who have their mouths sealed shut. Their jaws are mechanical, wired into the upper part of their cheekbones. You can see that they have been crudely sutured in place. They cannot talk, and they cannot hear. They've also been deafened. They have the ability to see. They are clearly fit. They are not emaciated in any way, but they are wearing very basic uniforms. No armor. You are seeing plastic batons, like clearly reinforced, very capable, but they don't have any metal on them, like very, very limited. The feeling as you're going through this is kind of like the Magneto prison in the original X-Men. It's a very limited environment, and you're escorted silently. Morgan, you show a document on your data slate that is anticipated, and you make your way to an observation room. It's cold metal, covered in stone. You're seeing that there are stone aspects to this place built into this room. There are no seating. It's about 4 feet deep, about 12 feet long, and you're looking through a view screen. Could be a window, could be a very high-tech screen, but roll me perception.
Great.
I'll get it from all three of you.
Dirty 24.
21.
8.
It's a hell of a window, Solomon. You other two are looking at this and are realizing it is multiple layers of different kinds of glass. Some of them electrified, some of them not, which can give it a bit of an impression of a vid screen if you were to look at it for the first time, but it's clear that you're actually seeing into the room. There's just additional shielding here that you don't entirely understand. I will also say the pendant that Valentine gave you is a little bit warm inside this facility against your chest.
Okay.
That stands out to you, Morgan. Inside this room, looking through this screen, you are seeing a whitewashed space. There is a table in the center of it, and there is a figure sitting down just eating. There are two stools bolted into the floor. It looks like a visitation room, you would imagine, with one door entering. Damien, you are sitting at this table. There's food here. You are eating. You've been brought to this place to meet Valentine. You've been brought to this place for violent testing, and you've been brought to this place randomly to just be sat down and for nothing to happen, so that you never know what is going to happen. What do they see when they look at you?
They see a prison jumpsuit that is in terrible disrepair. It's like, it might have been a different color, but now it's kind of like the sort of like rust brown that like blood takes on after it's kind of dried. This person is tall and lanky. He's about 6'7". Like, he is stretched kind of, and there's a lot of musculature that you can see, but it's not big muscles. It's just sort of like corded kind of muscle. And he's like not wearing any shoes. And he's got, I think, probably manacles to his waist and manacles across his ankles as well. And he's got white and gray sort of hair in a like a really, really high undercut with all the kind of long hair in the middle swept back to the back of his head. He's got sort of hawkish features, kind of like a big sort of like sharp nose and sort of sunken eyes. He's got scarring all over his face, just sort of like shallow nicks and cuts and things like that, and various ink tattoos, just some more imperial skewed than others. You can kind of see through like the baggy neck of the shirt. He's got like the aquila on like his like right pectoral muscle. But then he also just has sort of like one thick line down like his bottom lip to his chin, just a black line and things like that. And he's there. He's eating, you say?
Yep.
Yeah. So and he has no utensils. He's just eating with his hands.
And that's when a light goes on over the door, and two hulking figures enter. When you're looking at these, this is classic hive scum thugs. Even to you, Solomon, even though you haven't really seen criminals, these two coming in feel like criminals. You're seeing vat-grown muscle, crude tattoos. One's got a mohawk. The other is fully head-shaved. It's got a palm of a hand over one eye as a tattoo, and then blood dripping down the other two eyes beneath them. And they step into the room and say, "Oh, you got food." The door closes behind them. "Yeah, that's going to be ours now. Get on the ground."
Damien continues to eat and just looks at them. Like he is now not taking his eyes off of them, but he like in maintaining eye contact just scoops more food into his mouth.
"Oh, he's like that? Yeah, he's like that. Okay. All right." The mohawk figure steps forward and sits down. Immediately you ID him as the one who's in charge of the two of them. Oh, you must not know who we are. See, we're the Bloody Hand Gang. And yeah, they transferred us here from some other prison. You want to know why? Because we killed too many people and we took over the place. So I'm going to take this food, and if you don't let me take this food, we're going to beat you to death.
And Damien will look kind of at you, or sort of approximately at you.
Yeah,
all
you see is the
him.
reflected mirror. You can't see who's behind it.
He'll say, is this it then? Another one of these tests.
Another one of the... All right, I guess you want to test us. And he reaches over with a big, meaty hand and takes the edge of the food tray and starts sliding it towards himself.
And again, Damien's sort of like ignoring this guy, just points, is like, I wanted to finish that. Are we doing this?
I guess we're doing this, aren't we? I'm going to eat this, and he's going to fucking kill you, what?
I'm not talking to you. And he'll stand up, and he'll say, this is their last chance.
The hell is this?
All right. And he'll say, kneel. And he's going to cast Voice of the Damned at level 2.
What do they need to roll?
They need to roll a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, yeah, they're real good at that.
They need to beat a 14.
14, okay. That's a failure. And passes. So Mohawk goes down, but the other guy stays up.
Oh, okay. Great. He'll center his next thing on Mohawk then and just try to catch the guy who's still standing. Or maybe even just as an example, like send him away with a few burn scars, but not incinerate him like he's about to do to this guy. Damien will just kind of put his hands out in front of him with his fingers kind of splayed out, and the atmosphere between his fingers around his palm starts to warble, and steam kind of comes off of his skin. And then all of a sudden, a gout of flame shoots out of both of his hands as he casts Warp Fire Blast, centered on this guy just kneeling in front of him.
Incredible. Is there anything you need me to do?
It does require a dexterity saving throw.
Nope, he's kneeling and he ain't moving.
That's what I was hoping for. So that's 3d6 fire damage.
All right. The one thing I do need you to do, because we're in Warhammer 40K and Psyker powers always come with a cost, known as Perils of the Warp, for those of us who are familiar with the tabletop game, we are introducing a Perils of the Warp mechanic in this game, even though we're playing D&D 2024 rules. So every time you use a psychic power, there may be exceptions to this if it's just like casually in conversation or like a milder one. But every time you use a psychic power, you will roll a d20. And on a roll of 1, I have created a custom Perils of the Warp chart that we will then roll a d100 and find the result on. Any other result, power goes off fine. But if you roll a 1, the warp opens up. It could be great. It could be terrible. It will be weird. And we will find out what will happen.
That's lucky number 13.
Lucky number 13. You're doing fine.
Okay. 11 and one more d6 for a total of 15 fire damage.
Dang.
15 fire damage. You incinerate him down to the bones.
Yeah.
On the body class. The other guy goes, oh, fuck me. All right. I guess you looking for a flaming hand gang? Fuck it. You're the boss now. Enjoy your food. I'd like to leave, please. Knocks on the door. I'd like to leave. Thank you. The door does not open.
Oh, that's just too bad.
You better watch out. I'm also the fucking witch. I'll fucking witch you so hard. You better watch out. You better watch. He's saying this as he's backing away. Just one hand towards you. Like,
Yeah. Damien is also backing away so that we're just at opposite ends of the room and kind of thinking that, like, if this guy hasn't been allowed to leave, like, there must be more that needs to be shown. So he'll kind of like tilt his head to the left and right, kind of loosen up his neck, and provide a bigger show of what he's capable of. And he will cast Warpfire Sphere, and a giant ball of chaotic fire just forms out of nothing in the middle of the room, just growing and growing and growing. And then Damien just sort of like with one finger forward gestures, and the ball begins to roll towards this man at the other end of the room.
oh, fuck! He yells. What does he have to roll, if anything?
Warp fire sphere is a 5-foot diameter sphere.
That doesn't bode well for him.
Any creature that ends its turn within 5 feet of the sphere makes a dex saving throw.
That's a 7.
That's not going to beat the 14 requirement. So that's 2d6 fire damage.
Roll away.
That is 9 fire damage.
Ah! Ah!
And-
Just standing and screaming
And-
trying to leap out.
Yeah, the gout of flame, the warp fire blast, that was like a one thing, but this fireball doesn't go away. It just stays there until the screaming stops.
Okay, so he keeps screaming. And everyone watching gets a solid 60 seconds of this guy screaming before he completely burns to death.
And up there in the viewing room, as soon as they all stepped up, Morgan would grab the upper arms of both of her companions. Just gently, just holding them, just in case they decide to do an act or they decide to do anything, she can just sort of like back on them.
I think as soon as the first gout of flame comes out, I think Brother Solomon is going to like clap the judge on the back and be like, "See, Judge, he works the miracles of the Emperor. Look at him burn the heretic, the criminal. These are miraculous times, Judge."
And the judge who figures himself a Renaissance man will just recite a passage, like a poetry passage. It's like, "Burn, burn, the heretic booms. The fire brings but only doom."
Ominous.
And another guy dies horrifically. Roll me a d20.
That's a 19.
All right, you're still fine.
Yeah.
Nothing spooky happens one way or the
Oh
other.
my God.
Damien, you've killed everyone. You are inside this room, and the door opens.
And I will have snuffed out the warp fire sphere.
Yeah, the door will not open until that sphere is gone. But once that sphere is gone, the door will open, and you find yourself looking at a guard, which is unusual. Generally speaking, the door just opens, and you walk down the path to the other door that's open, and they close them. But a guard is there and has all of your items when you were arrested stored in his hands, in his palm, in a bag, like a clear plastic bag where they had been stored.
What is this?
The guard holds out his hands. Looking at the top, you can see there's a piece of parchment that has been attached to this bag.
Yeah.
It says your name, the date you were arrested, the date now. If you weren't counting the days, you're now aware it's been 5 years.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Prisoner released.
He'll snatch that up. Is there any more to read?
That's all.
I'll look at the guard, who can't hear, but will like sort of over-enunciate to make sure that he is understood through lip reading, which I think might have come up.
Mm-hmm.
Did Valentine do this?
The guard makes no expression.
He'll just take his things and put them on, like just casually, just kind of brush the the now like burnt terribly meal
Off the metal table,
off
yeah.
the table, and kind of put the things out here, and we'll kind of go over his equipment. Some of this not truly his, but I guess his now.
Inherited at the time of
Inherited, yeah.
the time of his awakening / tragic loss / death / murder.
It was in his arms as he was apprehended, yeah. And he was much smaller then. And given that the glass, the viewport is a mirror, we'll turn to face it to see how his mentor's witch hunter coat fits him now that he's grown.
Fits just fine.
It is in a terrible state. Both of the sleeves are missing, so he'll undo his jumpsuit. He's like not like bashful about anything like that. He just like will strip to put on his clothes that he kind of came in with, and put on the coat. It has no sleeves. There's just his exposed arms kind of slide through. There was sort of like ceramite armor kind of like put into like key junctures on this coat to provide more protection for a witch hunter.
Mm-hmm.
But that has been like melted and kind of or blasted away. So it provides no like tactical cover or anything like that. It is just a garment.
Yeah.
But he straps it across his chest, zips it up, buckles it, regards the hat, and for now will not put it on. He will pick up and sling across his shoulder a light crossbow and 2 nicked and poorly maintained sickles, just 2 one-handed kind of curved blades that he will kind of rest onto his hips and pick up his like parchment, his prayer book, things like that, square everything away. Hat he will kind of just like tuck under his arm, secure with his offhand, and say, all right, what now?
When you turn back around, the guard is not there. But when you go look down the hallway, you can see one door is open. It is clear there is a path for you to walk. The rest of you have a very similar experience, only you do have a guard to walk you down the path
Great.
of doors.
Did we see him change, though?
You did not. You would have been walked out of that room, so you would see him for the first time moments later when he would. Is there something you wanted to see while he changed?
I thought he was just like, because when he said that he doesn't care, like he's just so used to it. I think as a judge, just making sure he's not pulling any tricks or hiding anything that might have been on his
keister
person.
in anything?
Yeah.
I mean, if you refuse to go, yes. Okay. Then you stayed because the judge wanted to watch a man change, according to the other two
I
of you.
think Brother Solomon would have turned Morgan around and been, my lady,
Oh, God.
modesty, please. Give the man time to change.
Brother Solomon has turned Morgan away while the judge is watching like a hawk as this man changes. And then you're all escorted to the other side of the ship, basically.
Perfect.
It is a long walk down a series of hallways to an exit bay. You can see the airlock on the other side is clearly hooked up to a ship. It is this large kind of storage bay that could bring ships in, prisoners in or out. It's very empty. You would expect more landing or support or things like that, but it's clear that this is mainly an umbilicus entry and it's over. So this isn't designed for like fighters or other things to land in. This is a much smaller bay. You're there. You're all in your equipment. You all have your gear with you when Damien steps out to join the group. And I want to be clear. When Tyler said he carries a light crossbow, it's not like, oh, it's secretly something else in Warhammer 40K as we've reskinned a lot of things. Damien looks like a classic witch hunter with a crossbow. That's his equipment, and that is what he is carrying. But he steps out, and Damien, you take in these other 3. Now, we know what the judge looks like in his official gear. We know what Solomon looks like in his official gear. Morgan, what do you look like now that you are outside of an inquisitorial prison? What is your day-to-day interrogator wear?
Yeah, the day-to-day stuff that she trained in, the outfits that she was training in with people, but then had to give back because she wasn't allowed to have her weapons and armor and all that stuff in the prison cell. But she has basically what looks like a Metal Gear Solid sneaking suit. It's black head to toe, straps on it, covers her all the way up to the neck. And then over top of that, she has a heavy coat that has fur lining it. It has gold buckles and it has the aquila on it. And it goes down to about her knees and has a side open. So when she has the coat on, she looks like she could just be wearing tall boots that go up. But the 2 guys from having seen her, that when she takes the coat off, it's all armored body glove from her neck down to her feet. So she'll step up and looking over Damien now that he has clothes on, which he didn't get to see, but at least the judge got to see it.
Got to.
Yeah.
It was privileged.
Put on a little show.
Yes.
Yes.
Damien Proxima, the Inquisition has come to collect you.
And who are you?
I am Interrogator Morgan Rhalls. Inquisitor Valentine is my master.
Valentine sent you.
He did.
Well, all right. I owe him enough to go along for now.
I think your powers would be well served in the Inquisition. The Emperor pleases it that you would come. Everyone get in the ship.
Yeah.
And you all turn to this new ship. You turn to the airlock. Then the airlock opens and out steps a wizened old figure. You are seeing a man a little bit hunched over. He looks to be about 170. Just the oldest man any of you have ever seen. There is still a glint to his right eye, though, a bit of spry energy. His left eye is an augmetic, and you can see that his feet seem to have been augmetically replaced. He's in large red robes, looking a bit formal. His hands are steepled in front of him, and you realize there is a pole extending from his hands that with wheels on the bottom that actually lets him do an old man hunch and then wheel around without requiring him to carry a cane. And he looks at all of you and says, well, it's excellent that you're here. Do you believe you are Interrogator Rhalls?
That is me.
Excellent. And the rest of your companions have arrived?
Yes, we have everyone.
Well, then it is my job to welcome you to the Lucky Strike. I am Avarice. I am your savant for your journey moving forward. I've already had the rest of your things brought over from the other ship so we can make our way to our final destination, or shall I say the beginning of our quest. Come with me. Come inside. Come on. I'll give you a tour. I'm not quick, but I'm pretty quick. He turns and leads you into the ship, and you are all given your first tour of the Lucky Strike, which is the rogue trader vessel of one Morgan Sharp, which is able to travel through space. Over the course of this tour, I don't know how particular you guys would like to get about this ship, but I'm happy to pass along as much information as you want. Morgan, how much of it would you want to see?
Morgan would want to see the overall walkthrough with everyone, and then would want to see schematics of it.
Fabulous. You'll get the schematics afterwards. But
Perfect.
you are all looking at a small rogue trader vessel, but a large ship. We're talking 8 crew cabins that are small, kind of focused in an area. 1 larger captain's cabin. There's a mess hall, a gun closet, which is kept around the cockpit and the general areas of the crew cabins.
Nice.
So that if you were to store your weapons, A, they can be locked up by the captain as appropriate, but B, it's also possible under a boarding action to just haul that closet open and hand out guns and everybody's armed. There are 2 engine access rooms because there are 2 large engines on either side of the ship. There is a Gellerfield station, a small room that, again, is just between where the engine access are. You can write this down, but there's a lot. You've got the cockpit. There are 2 storage bays with exterior access ports. One is off use. It's actually set up with a bunch of equipment you may need over time. It's locked as you begin your tour, and the other is fully available for you to take on anything else you need in terms of if you need to transport people, items, if you need to make a deal to be a rogue trader to sell things, you've got that space available. There also is a rear launch, which is interesting for you to be able to check it out because there are exits that you could just climb out if you were to land this ship.
Yeah.
It's capable of atmospheric entry, but it's big and it's relatively ponderous if you were to move it into atmosphere. But from the rear launch, there are 2 different craft that undoubtedly are of very great interest to you. One, Avarice points towards and says, yes, so this is your gun cutter. This is a way for you to transport down in, shall we say, typical flying style. When you look at this, it's a sleek ship. This is much closer to like the X-Men Quinjet style thing.
Yeah.
It'll fit all of you. If you need to bring a few more people, you could do that. There's an autocannon under the nose, so it's armed, but it's an easy kind of boxy flyer that you could take down and out if you wanted to get yourself down and get your up. The other, though, is something that would be puzzling visually for 3 of you. Because Morgan, Brother Solomon, and Damien, you haven't seen anything like this. The judge, however, has. Judge, your visual comparison of this is an Ultramarines drop pod, which you have seen during your time, the very brief time that you got to spend with the Ultramarines, which is shaped almost like a mechanical egg, just with sharper edges leading up to the top. This one is broader. It has more supports. There are more rockets strapped to it than you saw in the Ultramarines version. Your guess, Judge, would be this is to allow people to survive landing in this because a Space Marine drop pod, only Space Marines can survive the compression on the bottom of the landing. But this is there. It's got a pedal shape for when it opens up to allow you all to exit. And Avarice says to you, yes, this is the drop lander. So if you are in a combat situation or we need to send you somewhere dangerous, it'll get you in. Drop you down quite violently. It is unpleasant, but there are gel couches inside that'll allow you all to survive the G's of the landing. It can fly back up, but it's a hell of a lot slower and more ponderous, so I would not suggest that in any sort of combat zone.
Understood.
And that's the Lucky Strike. The only other thing that's probably worth mentioning is, I should let you speak to the closet. Just a second, come with me. He leads you over back, wheeling his hands around as a little old man, to the one locked door to the engine room. And he knocks on it from inside your voice. No. You have to let them in. It's the interrogator. No. Okay. And the door hisses open. And you all enter into what you'd seen on the other side as a large empty, vast storage bay, and you were aware how much space was there. This one is chock fucking full. There are weird little hallways. It's almost like a hoarder was in here. It's full of technology. You're seeing outfits. You're seeing armor thrown aside. There's an armorer's table, and there's a large system in the back that you can all see that clearly has cryopods attached to it. So they're designed so you can go into them and put yourself in stasis for long journeys or other things that are going on. You can't see inside those pods right now. They're frosted over. But coming out from amongst them is an Adeptus Mechanicus. You recognize it's undeniable how much technology is in this man. He is hovering off the ground. You can see exhausts that are creating almost little rippling waves in the air underneath him of anti-grav motors. So from the waist down, there's nothing touching the floor. He's just hovering around with a skirt that almost moves up and out to allow him to control left or right movement as he's doing this. And he's got 6 arms. 2 that are clearly the original human style, though they've been heavily altered. 2 more that appear to be equally human in scale and movement, but they are fully mechanical. And then 2 mechadendrites at the top that also have hands on them, like very finely made filigreed hands. And under his red robe, which has been custom made to sit above his skirt, it doesn't dangle down to affect his movement negatively. You can see just a full mechanical face. You're seeing a speaker for the mouth from what you can see, 2 big mechanical eyes, and then the hood hangs down, so you're not actually sure what goes on within it. Interrogator, it's good to see you.
Nice to meet you. What do I address you as?
I am technically designated CL053T, but people call me Closet.
Understood. Good to meet you, Closet.
Yes, if you need any weapons, upgrades, maintenance, if you need specific outfits for your queries, if you need anything technically put together, I can provide what you need.
Perfect.
I'm like a closet. I've been told this is humorous to some baseline humans.
Brother, are you enjoying this?
It's just a funny, it's a closet and he stores things. I enjoy a good joke as much as the next person.
There you go, Closet. You have a fan.
Excellent. Let me know how I may serve you, fan.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye. And you leave. The rest of the crew that you see on this ship, you check in and meet the pilots, who are known as Cutter Prime and Cutter Secundus. They are servitors who are locked into the canopy. So they're in the cockpit. They can be removed to allow you to manually fly, should you so wish to at some point. But they both work 12-hour shifts. One is deactivated for 12 hours to rest the human brain inside it, and the other is activated. The navigator, known as Nav4, is a servitor. The astropath, known as Ast2, is a servitor. The cook, called Cook 10, is a servitor. And there are 6 more servitors. 2 are maintenance and 4 are for loading if you're bringing crew in and out. So this ship is clearly designed to run really lean. But it allows you to do what you need to do with this ship at this time.
The Ast is the what?
Astropath.
Astropath, okay.
So for you to send or receive long-form messages, because all long-form technology and communication in the Imperium is done by Psykers. So they servitorized a Psyker to be able to just send and receive messages.
As nature intended.
Fabulous. So you can all claim your quarters. You all have your various items. Obviously, your servo skull has come with you, and there is a loud bark coming that only you would recognize as a bark, Judge Rex, from Closet's area, tearing out of the storage bay here, because your cyber mastiff has chain blades inside its mouth. So that's what it sounds like when it's happy to see you. Just a horrifying, metal, threatening, menacing robot dog full of a real dog's spine and brain, but just murder pieces, comes tearing down the corridor towards you.
Rex 2!
And it bowls into you in like a kind of dog-like affection. It's not fully aware of how dangerous it is, but it has been programmed so that there's never actual aggression expressed towards you. And you're a big guy in armor, so you can take a bonk from a metal dog.
No! He bowls me over, and he's, instead of using his chainsaw tongue, he is just like nuzzling me with his head. So he's just scraping. There's sparks flying off my helmet. I'm laughing. That's a good boy, Rex 2. Oh, did you have a nice trip? Vroom indeed. Does anybody have some good blood this thing could drink?
I don't have any spare. I'm sure we will find more for it to eat on our mission.
Well, that's good. That's good. You see, Crusader, this is what a real honorable beast looks like.
A fine companion to bring along to add to our ever-growing retinue. Judge, I value your wisdom in the matter.
Good. All right, then. You should.
Very good. Everyone, pick a room. Take your cyber mat. Do you keep it in your room with you?
No, he sleeps at the foot of my bed.
Perfect.
Yes.
Fabulous. You all claim quarters amongst these things. I'm imagining, Morgan, you would take the larger captain's quarters.
Yeah.
Excellent. You find a rather plushly decorated quarters. It's clearly intended to just enhance the rogue trader-ish image of, like, if you're going to invest in one place being comfortable, everywhere else looks like a shipping vehicle. This is clearly for you. So there's a lot of pillows, there are a lot of other things. You can redecorate at will with things you pick up along the way, but you have comfortable, kind of glamorous quarters. The rest of you have very functional. It's another prison cell, Damien, but you get to open and close the door, so there's a bit of a difference.
Fun.
Yeah. I'm imagining you would keep your weapons in your various rooms. You wouldn't want a gun closet them.
Oh, yeah, no, he's still not trusting anybody, the judge.
Fabulous. I will also flag for all of you that you have the ability to lock your doors so that you can actually have privacy or have things other people would not be aware of. I will also flag for you, Interrogator. They don't know, but you can unlock any door on this ship because your Rosette will let you do that because it still has all of those cool things. And speaking of Rosette, it has a daggerish ending and a gem in the center, and it looks a little bit different than the regular Inquisition symbol. And I had a lovely pin given to me by Tyler that we will say is our special condition rosette. So if you want to wear that, you can while we are recording.
Hell yeah.
God damn.
Gonna get
Very
this
nice.
on.
After you all have gone to your separate quarters, got yourself settled in with as much or as little as you may have brought with you, Savant speaks to all of you again and addresses you as you come together and says, all right, so I'll be able to pass along the orders once we've arrived. We are going to... He pulls out a little scroll inside his hands that rests on his rolling around ledger so he can just roll it down and keep reading what's happening as it pops out. We're going to the galactic east of Holy Terra to subsector Euripides. It's located within Sector Quartus at the northeastern edge of the Ultima Segmentum. Now, I will have you know that this area is far from the Crusade battlefronts, but with an edge split by the Cicatrix Maledictum, it is far from peaceful. Both sides of this war seem to be ignoring it at the moment at the general scale of the tremendous battles, but that doesn't mean warbands aren't currently tearing it apart at a far higher rate than before that terrible night when they split the sky. This is a segmentum plagued by Xenos, chaos, and heresy, and it's where we're going. When we arrive, I'll check the local traffic and determine what we need to do. You may all want to ask me some questions about the mission that we're on or what our next orders are, and I'd like to get out ahead of that and say, I've been bifurcated. I have half a brain, currently. The other half is controlled by technology. I'll be upfront about it. I work for the Administratum, and I liked to, shall we say, interpret information, which is not what the Administratum wanted me to be doing. They wanted me to just be relaying it without any actual thought. Well, I got in trouble, so they handed me to the Inquisition. My brain was bifurcated. So half of my brain, which I do not have access to, and nor do you, contains a series of conversations and parameters defined by the Inquisitor on what you should be doing at any given time based on the situation. I do not know our ultimate goal. I don't know what the mission is. I don't know anything else. What I do know is my brain will randomly tell me what we need to do when I look at information about what's going on. So I'll let you know once I do. I don't know what the hell's happening. Any questions?
No, that all makes sense to me.
Where is the Inquisitor?
Well, we're working with the Interrogator currently.
Valentine's not going to join us.
That is correct.
Why... Why am I here?
I assume because the Interrogator brought you.
That's correct, because Valentine asked me to bring you here. He selected you personally, as with the rest of this team.
I've been under observation for 5 years. How do I know you're not just telling me exactly what I want to hear to follow you at all?
Well, I do have this ship. I have the Rosette, and I have Inquisitor Valentine's orders, and that is exactly what I'm going to carry out. Valentine wanted you to be here. He set things in motion for that to be the case. I need you here in order to do his will. Damien, if that is exactly what you want to hear, then consider this the Emperor's blessing shining down upon you. We have all struggled through things, and we have all been brought low for a purpose, and that purpose is to save the Imperium. Our mission is secret. Other people can't know about it. But because of that, we will strike true and do exactly what Valentine wants us to do, and in that way save everyone.
And what exactly is our mission?
Sorry, I'm just...
Judge, please speak freely. I wish all of us to get to know one another.
Well, I just think this bony-assed heretic is complaining an awful lot, when really he should be thanking his lucky stars that he still draws breath. I would keep your tongue firmly inside your mouth, lest I chop it off and feed it to old Rex too. You're a hungry boy, aren't you, boy? That means yes.
Judge, I appreciate your candor, and I do like hearing your mind.
Thank you.
I am also going to set a ground rule. All of us are on the same team. No one will threaten one another. No one will fight one another. If you have things you wish to discuss, you can come to me and I will mediate it.
Rex goes back down to like sharpening his knife. He's like, yes, threaten and good.
You will not injure one another.
Injure another, okay.
I wish to say that all of us are agents of the Inquisition. We are all on the same team and we will all work together. If any of you harms one another, kills one another, or in any way imperils this mission, then you are going against the Inquisition and you will be deemed a heretic. We are all chosen here for Inquisitor Valentine, and we will do his will. And that is what will happen. Brother Solomon, do you have thoughts or feelings that you wish to discuss openly?
I'm just excited to be here.
Yeah.
And he runs right over to Damien and extends a hand.
Damien just looks at your hand.
Damien, a miracle worker of the Emperor. It is a pleasure to meet you. Morgan, our interrogator, warns you of outcomes that are impossible. The taint of betrayal can never enter into the walls of this retinue of the Inquisition, and you must be glad to be a part of it. Don't listen to the judge. He is merely being cautious.
You are technically legally required to listen to the judge, so...
Oh, judge. Anyway, Damien, tell us about yourself. We must learn more about one another to become a stronger, more cohesive unit.
I think the brother is right. Perhaps we should all share something about ourselves. Damien?
That's right. The party has been brought together. The retinue is finally fully assembled, and it's time for your first Promethean secret ceremony.
This episode of Agents of the Inquisition features the voices of players Del Borovic, Guy Bradford, Josh Halbert, and Tyler Hewitt, alongside our Dungeon Master Ryan LaPlante. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Agents of the Inquisition's artwork was created by Del Borovic at delborovic.com. That's DELBOROVIC.com. Our theme song is The Hordes by Megan McDuffie, and our ad breaks use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR. All of their music is available at freemusicarchive.org. For all things Dum-Dums and Dice, including merchandise and how to join our Patreon, you can visit dumdumdice.com or find us on social media at dumdumdice. That's DUMBDUMBDICE. Though the team is working under special condition, this podcast isn't. So tell your friends about Agents of the Inquisition. and join us next episode. Rabute Gilliman himself commands it.
Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: George Dolby, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Alarain Okapi, Madre de Gatos, Mithrian, Garbo Ape, Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine, Dia de los Hoodless, Squishy Werewolf, Remy Funky Head, Accent Therapeutic Services in Florence, Kentucky, Lael, Jordan Oliver, Richard Wright, Brittany Fenwick, Megan Werner, A Man Out of Time, Curtis at FingerTechRobotics.com, Panda24NN, Shendra D, Your Homeboy Bones, Ellis Hatch, Odigenous, Kai Koa, Squire Solaire, Sandy Sassy Pants, Amira Lockhart, James Molina, Nick Hemsing, Alex LaFountain, Nikki Blake, Seth Cambron, Corpse Knight Silver, Adam Mir 101, The Dankler, Anticore 7, Lady Destiny Stormbringer, Randall Eberly, the Yes Bud of improvisational comedy, Lord Taser, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.